What's up, everybody? It is True Sage, and of course, as always, it is pronounced True Sage.
Yes, the camera is inverted. I know. Just give it a week.
What happens to the children in hell? As I was just looking at just different Hazbin Hotel stuff, it ran across my feed, and I think that was a pretty interesting theory. I never seen the children in hell. Well, then again, I may not have been paying attention. I think it's just a good theory in general to ask about what happens to the children in hell. So, if you ask me, they're in hell.
They die.
But I ain't gonna waste no guys' time. Be sure to hit the subscribe button, and after that, we can get straight into the video.
I want to talk about what happens to children in the Helliverse, and really the moral system of hell as a whole and why it's built that way, both within the world and outside of it for the writers. My name is Imcut, hit that subscribe button, and if you haven't seen it yet, we put out a video responding to your comments from our videos and our community posts. You guys are absolutely hilarious. Someone drew me as a girl, so I posted it to our community tabs.
That's a Steven Universe character.
Smash, 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 smash. Whoa, mama. Rule 34 artists. More, more, more. Smash. Next question. Go check it out.
Smash.
Now, in hell, there are two distinct types of demons. There are the sinners and the hellborns, or the natives to hell, if you will. Sinners were humans on Earth. They have an immortal soul, and when they die on Earth, they manifest either in heaven or hell, seemingly based on how moral they were in life, though the reality of heaven and hell system is very questionable, and part of what the show actually is meant to explore. Regardless, when a sinner, as they are called, dies on Earth, they manifest in hell with a demonic form that is unique to them. This is based on their life, interest, sins, and even the things they hate, such as Husk hating cats, or Angel apparently hating his own feet, traits that they can't change and are stuck with for eternity. These
That's interesting. I actually did not know that Angel hated his own feet.
sinners need to eat and drink and such, but they will not die from starvation or dehydration, experience the severe effects of it, and suffer until they can get food or drink. Sinners are essentially ageless, but older people do tend to manifest looking and acting less useful in whatever form they take. Husk, for instance, is said to be in his 80s, and that seems to register for his character. With that in mind,
I mean, he looks a little
there
youthful.
is any real de-aging phenomena, and thus no reason to believe any sinner would manifest as older than they were on Earth as well. With that in mind, if a child dies on Earth, they should manifest in hell or heaven as an angel and be stuck at that age for the rest of eternity. While they would likely gain some maturity as they continue to exist, they will likely never reach the development of an adult in the way we think of it. In addition to this, there are the hellborn children who are not immortal. These are the children of imps, succubus, hellhounds, and other species that are native to hell and that live in the various other rings in addition to pride. These are demons, but their lives are more similar to humans on Earth.
Brace yourself, because Six Flags Over Texas is open for spring break on March 9th, and this is your...
While they live longer than humans on average and are much more durable, they can die of old age and be killed by violence. While sinners can only be killed by an angelic weapon from heaven, the imps and other hellborns can be killed by any weapon at all, though angelic weapons are seemingly even more effective on them, and like with sinners, should be able to deal permanent damage to them even if they aren't entirely killed by it. The Earthborn sinners were said through Twitter to be restricted to the Pride Ring, meaning they cannot...
No, let me read this myself! Fun fact, Lululand is the greed ring of hell. Only hellborn species can travel the ring, while dead sinners can only exist on the top ring.
Not go to those lower rings, hence why Blitz and his gang live in the Pride Ring with its red sky in Imp City, which caters to imps but still has plenty of sinners because it is in the Pride Ring. A lot of new fans don't seem to get that yet. They are just confused because they hear Imp City and assume that would be in the Wrath Ring, and it looks similar enough with its orange sky to Pride's red sky, but they are definitely in the Pride Ring. Anyways, this separates the sinners from most, but not all of the hellborn species' children, with it more so being a choice to live in the Pride Ring for hellborns like imps. So there does appear to be some laws and systems in place to protect children as they develop, but they are rather lax compared to those on Earth. And additionally, the sinner children are said to also be given a sort of special protection as well. Now, according to an ancient livestream with VisiPop, hell operates somewhat similarly to a prison in terms of morality. This isn't some universal rule, but the sinners from Earth operate under a code that you do not abuse women or children. In prison, people who are sent away for crimes against women, and especially crimes against children, tend to face not just ostracization from other prisoners, but very deliberate violence. No one really knows why they are in hell per se, but they all have their own ideas of what they did to end up there, and like entering a prison, there is a sort of reason that you are there that can be explained. While most crimes against each other are understood to just be inevitable because everyone in hell is either sinful or even evil, to make it known that you were there because you had done something unspeakable to a woman or child would lead to you being left out to die in the annual exterminations, I believe. Perhaps even just executed by a band of elsewise evil control freaks who like to make sure that kind of filth can't infect their systems. And
that's kind of
those crimes
all right.
in hell would lead to the same. Even before the annual exterminations, there had to have been endless torture prisons of sorts for these types of sinners. Wild areas of darkness in the Pride Ring where you can't escape and are constantly hunted by natural-born demons and monsters. Now, these rules are more rules of convenience.
Is that worse than just burning for the rest of eternity? No, it's not.
They are thinking to avoid having to worry about this kind of sin in their show, with it already getting enough controversy for Angel Dust's plotline with Valentino. But it gives us insight into how we can imagine the rest of hell operating to accommodate this rule for the writers. Now, natives grow into adults, so they don't need things to be much different than they are on Earth. While there's a lot more violence in their world that they can be subject to, they are tougher overall, and Moxie can leave dangerous substances and needles around children for comedic effect without us having to take it too seriously. There are undoubtedly rules in place about how to conduct yourselves for the children's sake, but in the wild corners of Pentagram City, the capital of...
Why did I never realize this, bro? I do remember this. Did Louis just kick a baby?
Conduct yourselves for the children.
Why do I forget the little did it? And also, by the way, smash. Anyways.
Sake, but in the wild corners of Pentagram City, the capital of sinners, there is very little order maintained, and it becomes a bit of a choice that the Hellborn make to raise a family around these kinds of sinners. As for the sinner children, their story is quite a bit more interesting. A child dying on Earth and ending up in hell would have a pretty hard time at first, not being able to get a real job or knowing how to use that money in a way to take care of themselves in a world where everything is there to take advantage of you. These days, I imagine there are online social networks created by Vox and Velvet that help connect people in hell, making it so people can instantly hop online when they manifest in hell and find people based on the various names they used in life before adopting their nickname in hell. This would be something only recently.
Y'all think they getting billed in hell? I think cause they got internet. Do y'all think they getting billed or Twitter's already hell? And so what y'all think Twitter like?
Just recently bringing in the age of social media. Before this, I still imagine there were all sorts of options, however, particularly for children. Everyone in hell is either going to want to avoid people outright from their life or find as many of them as they can. So I imagine there is practically an industry for this sort of thing, connecting every corner of the Pride Ring that dates back to when they only had written word and could only keep track of names and help travelers look through them. At this early age, I think children would have found sanctuaries all over Pride until their families could be found and they could be connected, which as immortals was bound to happen eventually, even after hundreds or maybe thousands of years. Some people were undoubtedly on eternal missions to find their loved ones on Earth, which would have been what made such an industry begin. All over hell, I also imagine some not-so-perfect mothers who just loved nothing more than taking care of kids in life, and without the ability to give birth anymore, would probably lovingly adopt all sorts of sinner children because they would never grow up and leave them. These children could be taken care of by legitimate community resources, or can each become their own weird operations where children work to help maintain the food and such without being particularly exploited. Many of these children could eventually find their real parents in time, or beyond them, descendants of theirs who just want to be parents as well, who just love raising a kid and living the family life even in hell, and thus it makes sense to adopt kids from within their family line, even if they
that's always going to be wild to me, that people still want to do stuff like that, because they're still in hell. Like how you said earlier, hell is going to either have sinners or people who are just natively born, so it's just still wild to even hear people in hell wanting to do stuff and acts like this, but let's continue.
Technically some sort of ancestor. There could be entire colonies that exist where sinner children are sent to live wild child lives and still have access to food, perhaps one of the few positive social systems that exist in hell. As silly as all that sounds, my focus for this video was to be in line with the intent of the original lore of saying that people who abuse children in particular would face severe punishments in hell. It was a way to protect the writers from having to explore anything on screen that was too dark, letting hell be a
that makes sense.
instead of a too disturbing depiction of what real life depravity is, and one that paints hell as a place where children could essentially be left out of the overall sin systems, where they could just be left to do their own thing and be wild if they want or find families if they want. And
nah, that should have went here and kept it real.
Dealt with by the others. However, there is one instance we do see of kids being seemingly targeted in the annual extermination. While we don't know how often children are left out in this kind of situation, Vaggie showing mercy to this one child who could be a sinner or even a native only ended with Vaggie losing her eye in a violent battle against Luce as Adam and her abandoned her. This would paint heaven as a lot more ruthless than hell is, at least according to the early live streams. But what do you guys think?
What I have noticed, it does look like they depict heaven to be a lot more cruel than hell. In which, depending on how you want to look at heaven, I mean, it's interesting though. Should have kept it real. I'm gonna be real with you. Keeping it real, it probably wouldn't really fit the theme of Hell of a Boss, because Hell of a Boss still just have a lot of nice elements to it, despite it taking place in hell. They should have kept it real though. I ain't gonna lie to you. Most likely, Polly is right. Nothing he said in the theory like makes me be like, you probably stretching. Because most of the time, people make theories is gonna be some kind of stretch, but everything seemed to check out for me. So I don't know. Let me know in the comment section down below. Do y'all think this is right? Let me know. If you guys haven't done already, hit the subscribe button. This helps me, but it helps you too. Why? So you can see content similar to this one. If y'all did subscribe to me, I appreciate it a lot. If you guys didn't, guess we'll part ways. Either way I go, I'm out of here. Y'all keep it easy. And I'm gone. Peace.
That's all it is, man. Leap of faith.